One of the cornerstones of this channel is the way that I collect affordable horology. And when other channels talk about affordable horology, they're not really talking about the same thing that I'm talking about. Today we're taking a look at a recent purchase of mine. This is a Ventura. I've talked about these brands like Ventura on my channel many times. This is a watch that normally would cost in the thousands of dollars, but it didn't cost in the thousands of dollars. I paid around $200 for this watch, and it is something special, something that you don't see every day. It's definitely a conversation starter, and its design is very special. In fact, it's won awards. It's Swiss made, kind of an automatic, and it has lots of details. So let's flip the camera and take a look at my latest purchase, a vintage or neo-vintage Ventura. So this could be the bargain of the century, in my opinion. This is a new watch that I bought. It's not new at all, actually. It's a vintage watch. It's a neo-vintage watch by the brand Ventura. Ventura were one of the first independent brands. I know a lot of people have never heard of them. If you do a Google search, obviously Hamilton comes up, not Ventura, but they were a watch brand that were around for a little while, and they had a lot of futuristic designs. This is one of them. And they were powered by really nice movements. All of their watches were either in hardened stainless steel or titanium. If you love the watches that I talk about here on my channel, you're really going to love the website that I'm about to tell you about. It's called Wristrebels. Wristrebels is a website that has all of those small micro brands and independent brands that are really hard to find, all in one place. Brands like Sika Design, Mon, Formex, Awake, and Bow Blue, and many other brands you won't find anywhere else. Definitely check out Wristrebels at wristrebels.com. Also check out their Instagram at Wristrebels. And if you end up buying something, tell them that Watch Chris sent you. This one is in hardened stainless steel. This is the second time that I've owned this watch. The first time I owned it, I bought it off eBay originally, and I spent a lot more money than I did the second time around. This was broken when I bought it, and I got it working. It was actually very easy to get working. The time itself was working pretty well to begin with. That wasn't really the issue. It was the bracelet was broken, so all I had to do was replace this scissor. So this scissor was broken, and I just replaced it. That's it. It's just really friction pins in here, and I just used a donor bracelet, and I used the scissor from that bracelet and put it into this and got it working. I paid $200 for this watch, but let me tell you why that's a really good bargain. This is a Swiss-made watch, and you can see as I flipped it over, you have a red rotor on the back. That is a automatic movement, but it's not an automatic mechanical movement. It's an automatic quartz movement. So what does that mean? Number one, you have deadbeat seconds. It's not a deadbeat seconds, but it looks like a deadbeat seconds complication, like a kinetic or any quartz. It has a second hand that ticks. Number two, this is a GMT, and very rare for ETA, because this is an ETA movement inside. The GMT is a traveler's GMT. So when you pull out the crown into the first position, you have a bidirectional hour hand. You are also getting some really cool details on this watch. When you put it on its side, you could see that the sapphire crystal, you have a sapphire crystal on the front and back, is shaped really weird. It's a very strange shape. It looks like a Pringle chip, like a potato chip. Completely unnecessary. They didn't need to do it, but for the design, that's what they did, and I think it looks amazing. You have an interesting crown on here. It's sort of like a nipple crown. I don't want to use the word nipple, but that's kind of what it is. You have a crown protector, but it's just around the crown. It's nowhere else. So the crown guard isn't very noticeable. It's a really good design, and it's a very grippy crown, even though it's on the smaller side. And then the bracelet. You have these solid links on the bracelet that just look futuristic. The whole thing looks futuristic, and it's an integrated bracelet. So it integrates into the case, which looks, in my opinion, really good. You have a screwed-in case back where you can see the movement, and you do get that red rotor. And by the way, I looked it up because I wasn't sure myself. They were using a red rotor on their movements before Oris were. So before anybody goes to the comments and says Oris or something like that, they were actually doing it before Oris were. Now, can two companies do the same thing with their rotor? Sure. I'm just pointing out that this happened prior to Oris doing it. That's all. And it's actually a pretty good looking movement. You have blued screws, that red rotor with a V on it looks really cool. Overall, I think this is just an impressive watch for $200. The dial itself is minimalist. That's the whole idea behind this brand. You have right below the 12 o'clock, the V. That's their logo. I love their logo. It's like a very modern version of Vulcane. That GMT hand is a skeletonized hand. And then you have lume on the hour and minutes. I don't think there's a lot of lume on the dial, just little lume dots. There is no lume on the seconds hand. So, there you go. And then you have a color matched date at the 6 o'clock. Everything here is very minimalistic, very well designed, very well thought out design as well, in my opinion. The size on this watch is 38.8 millimeters. You have around a 13.8 millimeter thickness. It is on the thicker side because of that crystal, and of course this is a GMT with an auto-quartz. That does make it thicker. And then the lug to lug is, well, it depends on how you measure it, but if you measure it on the bracelet, it is pretty big. It wears like a cuff. It feels like a cuff. So the whole entire bracelet is, acts like a cuff bracelet. I would say at the case it's 43 millimeters, but it's probably in the neighborhood of around a 50 millimeter lug span, maybe even bigger than that. But on my wrist, that doesn't matter on my 7.5 inch wrist. If you have a very small wrist, that might be a problem with this watch. Also, I do want to mention the auto quartz is extremely accurate. So it's a quartz movement that is powered by that rotor. It powers a capacitor that powers the movement. So basically the time telling. That's it. I own another Ventura, and that has the exact same movement. It's a slightly higher grade version of the movement that's in this watch, but it's basically the same functionality. They are slightly thick because, you have a lot of technology in there, but they are ultra high precision. So that means you are getting a very precise time telling watch for a very good price because it's technically a quartz. The person who designed this watch, and this is called the Spark, by the way, it gets 50 meters of water resistance. The person who designed this watch was Hans Wettstein. Now, I don't think I mentioned that before, but pretty important because he was a designer, and some of the watches that he has designed I love. I would love to own more of these watches in my collection because I think the overall aesthetic is amazing. There is lume on the dial. It's not an incredible amount of lume. There is no lume on the second hand. There's just little dots of lume, and then the hands are obviously lume. So, this is probably in the neighborhood of a 25-year-old watch, maybe even older than that. I do want to mention that this is a pretty old watch. I didn't mention that before, but if this was designed today, if this came out tomorrow from an independent brand and they were charging $10,000 for it, I think people would pay that money for this. I think it's that good looking, in my opinion. Name another watch that you can get with an automatic rotor winding movement that has a Traveler's GMT that is Swiss made in a hardened stainless steel case. Sapphire, crystal, and all of that, but in a hardened stainless steel case. There aren't many watches out there for what these go for on eBay. Again, I paid under $200 because this was broken, but you can get these on eBay for around $400 in really good condition with box and papers and all of that stuff. This was naked and it was broken, so I paid under $200. But they are out there if you pay attention and put up a search like I do. These are available. Definitely check them out if you want something that is really somewhat high-end for a very good price. Anyway, guys, that's really it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon if you like videos like this. I really do appreciate it. And that is really all, guys. Thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. I will catch you guys in the next video.